you to pile into the ESSROC Arena because it is the hottest ticket tonight in the county. Game 2 for the Wellington Dukes in round 3 of the playoffs. The new opponent, Aurora Tigers. And game 1 on Thursday was pretty good for the Dukes. Thanks to goals from Colin Doyle and Frank Pucci, they ended up 2-1 in that game, so they're up 1-0 in the series. I'm Lindsay Heron. I'll be joined by Frank Pucci in the second intermission to talk about how he's adjusting. But first, let's join by our commentators Jason Parks and David Foote. Boys?
Hey Lindsay, and yeah, you're right. The Dukes picked up the Game 1 victory on the road in the jungle, but as you found out earlier on tonight, they're going to be without one of their big guns as they get set for Game 2 here at home.
Yes, Andrew Rinaldi, one of the top dogs arguably for Wellington in the playoffs and in the regular season, was out. He sustained an upper body injury in Game 1 and did not play much in the third period, so replacing him is 15-year-old Quinty Red Devil Isaac Langdon. So could be an interesting night, but big loss for the Dukes.
It's a huge loss for the Dukes, Jason, but a big win for the Dukes in Game 1. This matchup, for those who didn't catch Game 1 in Aurora, is going to be an absolute 180 turnaround, I suppose. A completely different series compared to what we saw against the Newmarket Hurricanes.
Well, absolutely, David. And, you know, you look at where Wellington's come through this Buckland Cup playoff run, I really think this is going to be more in line with the run-and-gun style we saw against the Pickering Panthers. The only difference this time around is that the Aurora Tigers are an old, pardon the expression, crusty bunch of junior hockey veterans, so it's going to be a lot more physically intense, I think, than you saw in the Pickering series. Obviously an up-and-coming team in the Pickering Panthers.
Off up there and sent right in front and off the crossbar, Davis, but they score on the rebound. And after Wellington struck first in Game 1 on the road, Elijah Gonzalez buries his second of the playoffs, and it's the Tigers on the board first in the Duke Dome.
Well, the Tigers.
Young Jack Irvine early. Irvine played the AAA Richmond Hill Coyotes last season, and they do! They get to him real early. 14 seconds into the power play, and the Dukes even the score.
Well, some nice puck possession down low for the Wellington Dukes. Obviously striking early, just 13 seconds into this power play. Teddy McGean on the doorstep, trigger man. And he's going to take a nice backhand feed. I believe it was either Martin, or we'll get a look here and see, but just sets up. There's some nice forechecking right there. Martin, bang. Or pardon me, that's Doyle. No, Martin made the save, or the pass. Doyle was there on the forecheck as well. Puck support, and 1-1.
Up the right wing side, former Whitby Fury, Mason Snell. Stopping on the half wall, sliding it back. Pass was almost intercepted, but the Dukes get it back again. Here's a chance for Yetman. He scores!
What puck movement there at the blue line. It was almost a disaster for the Wellington Dukes going back the other way, but a last-ditch effort. And, of course, Bryce Yetman, the one guy probably Aurora didn't want to see, breaking in on that. He's got that OHL release and picks the corner clean on Jack Irvine.
4-on-4 goal for Bryce Yetman. The 21-year-old from Whitby has his second of the playoffs as he goes right upstairs on the young goaltender for the Tigers, Abe Denti. Back to Mizzy with a shot. Tangled up with McGean. Now Yetman again. He's on a breakaway this time. Yetman scores! Second of the game gives the Dukes a 2-goal lead. And Bryce Yetman does it again.
Well, Bryce Yetman sort of had a funny feeling that puck may be available. And he was out all by his lonesome out at center ice, and there you see a big smile, and he's just loving life right now. What a great pass here. We're going to see. Well, yeah, and that's a big league move right there.
Well, he was just all alone, and I don't know how Bryce Yetman gets that kind of space, but great hands from the big man to stuff it home, losing the twig in the process, and big goal for the Dukes here in the late stages of period number 1 as they take the 3-1 lead. Long pass up ahead, and taking a bump was Gonzalez. Tigers keep it though. Shot attempt there from Romano is blocked and turned around, and the Dukes have 4 on the rush on 2. Evans keeping, back in the slot, and sliding across was Irvine. Now behind the net, Arcan passing it out. Good save, rebound, they score! Mitch Mendonca is going to make it 4-1. And the Thorold native has his 4th of the playoffs.
Well, the Aurora Tigers just looking so ragged there, and you're right, David, the Wellington Dukes have hemmed them into their zone, and the second period has really been the best period for the Wellington Dukes this entire playoffs. They have really done very well in terms of physical play, and there you see Arcan, he's going to just lob it out in front, and Mandonka on the doorstep. Good recovery there by the Wellington Dukes to not just take the 4-on-2 rush and just assume that they were going to get a better chance. And here you see all 5 Aurora Tigers standing around looking at their net, not looking at anybody in front, and any defensive coach will tell you that's a cardinal sin.
After a late second period penalty, that's Jack Irvine, who has faced, 26 shots, 22 saves for him in the game. Jonah Capriotti has faced 20 shots. So the Dukes have been real good all around tonight, not allowing a whole lot of shots. And when called upon, Jonah Capriotti has been there. And the Tigers come in again, pulling the goalie with over 4 minutes left in the game. Side of the net, chance, they score! Wilkie, who's had a great night for the Tigers, gets in tight, and he's going to tap it in to make it 4-2. And that goalie pull looks like a pretty wise move by Vince Bellissimo.
Well, we saw that at David DeMarinis was doing that with the Pickering Panthers. That was a David DeMarinis move, and it seemed to work. Certainly that one game, Wellington really had to hang on at the last minute. So we'll wait and see what happens here. Maybe Bellissimo kind of hangs on here and waits until about 2 minutes to go, but down 2 goals, he may be gambling. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
So 4-2, Tigers making it interesting. Goaltender back in. Here's a pass across. They score! It's the hat trick for Bryce Yetman, and the Dukes retake the 3-goal lead.
Well, Frankie goes to Hollywood, and what a pass that was. Able to find a streaking Yetman on the far side, and Yetman, as he does, that's a great seeing eye pass, Frankie Pucci.
No look pass really, and Yetman, we talked about his release earlier on. He didn't have to do much with that.
No.
And he buries it for the hat trick. Here's a chance at the empty net, and Colin Doyle has got another. And make it 6-2. And I think it's safe to say now the Dukes are going to take a 2-0 lead in the Northeast Conference Final. In behind the goal, and as it comes out into the slot, everyone's going to let up on it. Capriotti goes to get it, and the buzzer sounds. The Dukes take a 2-0 lead in the Northeast Conference Final with a 6-2 victory over the Tigers in their home opener of the series. Bryce Yetman with a hat trick. Teddy McGean, Mitch Mandonka, Colin Doyle with singles. Elijah Gonzalez and Zach Wilkie both answered for Aurora.
And as you just saw, Bryce Yetman here had a pretty busy night, hat trick for him, and he's come up big for his team. How have you been adjusting?
Well, I played with Soupy this whole past year down in Junior B, and we lived together all year too, so we got a click. And then I played with Frankie up in Sault Ste. Marie there, so we've all have chemistry off the ice and on the ice, so it's just translating out here, which can clearly show it out there. So.